Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your comments, DMs that I got from my last video. When I was applying for my PhD studies, I had a clear priority list. First, a famous university. Secondly, a great innovative research project. Thirdly, a famous great supervisor with a great publication record. However, now that I have finished my PhD, I can see that that list was wrong. At least that priority list, the way the priority was going was wrong. The first thing to consider is that the prestige of your university won't carry you through a PhD. A prestigious university is good. There's nothing bad with that. It's actually very great. However, that won't carry you through. It's the working environment, it's the day-to-day life, it's the support system that exists. That's why you shouldn't only have that's why your criteria shouldn't only be a famous university. The second thing to consider is that a famous supervisor is not always the right choice. Most of the time, very famous supervisors are very busy. They have a lot of students, a lot of ongoing projects, and they are always traveling. That's why it's very good to consider and to clearly see what you really want. For some people, it's great. For some people, it might not be so great. However, that will be upon your preferences. The third thing to consider is that the supervision style also matters. Some supervisors expect you to be independent, very independent, and other supervisors are very hands-on and they might come and help you in the lab, for example, or they might come and discuss with you ideas. But others might expect you to bring new ideas, to be self-sufficient. Still, it should be both of the approaches. You should be independent enough. However, your supervisor should be also available whenever you are stuck or whenever you need to see if the idea you have is feasible. Because again, most of the time, your supervisor will have more experience in the field than you. The fourth point is that your research interests should align with those of your supervisor. Why? We just saw in the previous point that your supervisor will actually have to help you at some point, either with a new idea or when you are stuck with something. Then they should have sufficient experience in your field. They don't have to know everything, but they should know enough in the field so that they can help you whenever it's needed. The point is that you should pay attention early enough. How is the communication style? What's expected from you? And one of the best things to do is to ask current students or former students, how was it for them? Then you can spot enough red flags. A tip from me would be treat this first meeting as an interview. Don't think that they will have to ask you, your supervisor will have to ask you questions. You should also ask questions. What do we expect from your students? What happens if I'm not able to finish in 3 years? And for example, I have to finish in 4 years. Is there any funding available? Or what happens if I don't have enough data to publish? What are other things to consider? What if one project is not working? When do we know that we should take another direction? All those questions are important questions to ask a supervisor when you are during your interview or in the first early days. In my case, I asked some questions in the interview, but the others I asked when I had secured the position. You can see if you can ask all those questions before or if you can ask those questions after you have secured the position. Now, thank you very much for watching the video up to here. This is the new order I will to consider now. A grade supervisor. And a grade supervisor is not only about the publication record. It's about how they treat their students. It's about how available they are. And it's about how mentoring they can be. And also how, to me, understanding they are. In the second place comes the research project. A good research project that you like will give you enough motivation for you to keep going on, because sometimes research is not always the positives, it's not always the ups. Sometimes there are highs and downs. During the downs is the motivation and the love you have for a research project that will carry you through. And in the third and last place would come the university prestige. Yes, that would be my new list if I would have to apply for a PhD today. Thank you very much. Let me know in the comments what you are considering now if you are applying for a PhD. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, and to share. But also, do not forget, I have material that you can use for your PhD, especially if you are applying for Germany. I have a ready motivation letter, CV, research proposal, a checklist, etc. Everything is in my description below. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.